Have you ever been lost and do not want to or cannot ask for directions? It's not a good feeling, especially when you're in an airplane 3,000 feet above planet Earth and all by yourself. Hi, it's Frank the pilot with amazing revelations of what a professional pilot sees, thinks, and feels. And the Gouge today is on safety. Live first. The valuable information is in chapter number 6. Gouge number 11. Several British friends who had previously labeled me Frank the Yank started calling me Frank the Pilot. Even though they and I thought I was a cool, big-time American pilot, the reality was I was still an inexperienced pilot with low flight time trying to achieve a career in flying. Are you struggling to get your career off the ground? Are you trying to accelerate the process? Will you do anything to get that process, to get help in that process to accelerate your career? It is important to proceed safely and legally if possible. When I started flying, I would do anything to accumulate free flight hours. Because I was addicted to aviation, I was a whore for flying. One time, I hitchhiked to Circumnavigating Airport, located 100 miles south of London. The trip, and it was located on the English Channel. The trip totaled 170 miles of hitchhiking in typical wet, cold English weather. From the Circumnavigating Airport, I piloted a Cessna 150 airplane with no navigation aids and no radios during turbulence and strong winds. So this plane was broken, the radios were broken, navigators were broken, and they wanted somebody to go down and bring the plane back. So I hitchhiked down there to bring the plane back so they can work on it, and it was great. I got free flight time, right? So that's like, it's like driving for 3 hours with no smartphone, no voice, no text, no Apple or Google Maps, no nothing, and no one with you. During the planned 3-hour flight, I would have to circumnavigate around London Heathrow's International Airport, one of the busiest airports in the world. I would have to fly with just an aeronautical map and a compass. And a compass is susceptible to gyroscopic precession. I explain that later on in the book. Everything you see on an aeronautical map, you should see on the ground. But not everything you see on the ground, you'll see on the map. That's because topography and geography change quicker than maps change. Well, after navigating the airplane around London in turbulence and strong winds, I became disorientated, not positive where I was. It's not a good feeling when you're all by yourself, 3,000 feet above planet Earth, and you're not sure where you are. You may be lost. You must know that feeling when you're lost and do not want to, or in my case, cannot ask for directions. I didn't have a working radio. And you just can't pull over to a cloud and ask for directions. I was thinking safety, live first. I spotted a small airfield below. I made a pilot command decision to land and to get more fuel and to get directions. So the Gouge is, it's better to tell a bad, embarrassing story than to die and not be able to tell a story at all. My story was I was lost, So I landed to get fuel and trying to figure out where I was to cover up, right? I love this line. It's one of my favorite lines. It's my original line. I lived and I was able to cover up in a bad, embarrassing story. I made a command decision to land and to use the excuse that I needed fuel when I really needed directions. But most important, I was safe and legal. Safety first. Always be safe. And if possible, be legal. On the ground and above the ground. Remember that Gouge. It's better to tell a bad, embarrassing story than to die and not be able to tell a story at all. Grab a copy of Frank the Pilot and read with me, because there's more to that story. Thank you for those 4-star ratings and those great book reviews and for following me on YouTube. It makes me feel good that I can share my experience with you and give back. Enjoy the day, if not the night.